Hi everyone, I'm Sophie. The book I want to share with you today is Work It. Secrets for Success from the Boldest Women in Business, written by Carrie Kerpen. Carrie Kerpen is the CEO and co-founder of Likeable Media, which is a media marketing consulting company. And she was the host of a popular podcast, All the Social Ladies. Before we get to the book, I want to talk about her podcast, All the Social Ladies. The last episode was back in June 2019, so it is not currently active, but she started this back in 2016. So for 2 or 3 years worth of episodes are still available on podcast app. And it is one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. And whenever I get a chance, I really enjoy listening to it. Her podcast episodes are basically interviews. She interviewed many female leaders and had them share their stories on their career and how they utilized social media personally and professionally. She shared an interview each week over 2 years. That's over 100 female leaders that we can meet through her podcasts. A funny story about how she came up with the name of her podcast, All the Social Ladies. Yep, from the song, All the Single Ladies, All the Single Ladies. So while she's producing her podcast episodes, she interviewed all these female leaders, from a CEO of a startup company to a senior leader of a Fortune 500 company. And she was surprised how willing all these women were to be on her podcast and share their stories. Naturally, her podcast grew. Then she thought, why not share all these great stories in a bigger way and reach more people? So she decided to put that together in a book. So all the stories she gathered, she put them in 3 themes. I'll just read it from the introduction. Part 1, Work It Professionally. This gives you all the basics of career planning. The women in this section share all the secrets you need to know to get hired, grow in your career, ask for raises, and more. Part 2, Work It Passionately. It explores strategies for getting to the right decisions in life. This section will teach you about achieving success and satisfaction by trusting your gut instinct as much as your rational thinking, and when to rely on one more than the other to make the best choice for yourself. Part 3, Work It Practically. In this section, inspiring women share how to navigate specific obstacles and challenges that women specifically face in the workplace. We talk about things like family planning and work-life balance, how to dress, how we're expected to behave in the workplace, how to deal with sexism, discrimination, competition from female coworkers and bosses, and much more. So each part, she shares a number of stories that are relative to the theme. Some stories were really eye-opening for me, and some I already knew, and some not really related to me, but indeed there are many great stories and tips in this book. Well, I'm not going to pick specific stories and share with you here because, see, these stories are already from Summon to Carrie to me by reading this book, and me to you through this video. There are so many bridges to share one story. So I will just leave it to you to read this book and get those stories directly. But rather, I want to share my story, how I got to pick this book and how this inspired me. I read this book actually early last year. That time, the company I worked for was in transition to be merged to a much bigger company. So there was a lot of confusion, fear, and unknowns, what's gonna happen to us or company structures, will I still have a job and such. Through all that, one strong thought in my head that popped up was, wait, this is much bigger company. That means there will be more opportunities for me. About 5 years ago, I left a company that I worked for 14 years and came to this company. At that time, I was not in a good shape. I was unhappy. I was literally burnt out. I mean, over the 14 years, I've learned a lot. I met a lot of good people, and I moved up, promoted, I grew up. But it was time for a change. I always loved data, reports, and analytics and stuff. So I wanted to continue to develop my career in that path. So once I decided that it was the time for a change, I started looking for a job. And you know what happened? Have you experienced that something just worked out without much effort? Like it was meant to be? It was like that. So I started looking for a job. Then I saw this opening that described everything I wanted to do. So I submitted my application. I got a call to have an interview. I went in to have an interview. Then I got an offer. Then everything just happened as if it was already set up. The only thing should have happened was just me deciding to move on. So over the 5 years, I've been a happy bird. Then this merge talk started. That came to me like a nudge. Like someone nudged me saying, hey, Soph, it's time to think about your future. You know, for 5 years, I was happy with my job and I was getting too comfortable, I guess. But when I think about my future, I still have good 20 years to go. And do I want to do the same thing for the next 20 years? No. So I needed something that would inspire me, motivate me, guide me, where I should look, where should I go, what should I think. Then this book came to get all this advice from all these successful female leaders. That's great, right? But realistically, it's not possible to meet them all myself. But Carrie Kerpen did it for me, did it for us. So back in April 2019, the merge happened. So after the merge, my role has expanded. I'm learning new things. I'm challenged to do new things. As the title of this book says, I'm working it and I'm loving it. No matter where you are in your career path, in this book, I guarantee you will find wisdom that speaks to you. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye! If you liked this video, please check out other videos in my channel. And if you like my channel, please subscribe.